Hi everyone, this is Katie with Empowering Astrology, and I'm doing an impromptu Instagram live to talk about Leo season. So, we just had the sun go into Leo yesterday, which means that we have entered a brand new season that's focused through the sign of Leo. So every sign of the zodiac is like a lens that teaches us about ourselves and teaches us about our life. So this past 4 weeks, when the sun was in Cancer, we were learning about Cancer. We were learning about home and family and emotional connection. But now the sun's in Leo, so we're learning about how to be ourselves. We're learning about how to express who we are. We're learning about our talents, our the things that make us different from everybody else. I see some waves just saying hi. So these are the things that really make us different from everybody else, and that's the thing. There's 8 billion people on the planet, and we're all different people in a wonderful, beautiful way. So this is the season for you to really kind of get into the heart of who you are and to share it with other people. And I see some other people are waving hi. Some people are Geminis. If you are a Leo, happy birthday. You don't have to be a Leo to enjoy Leo season. And I think something to keep in mind as we go a little bit further into Leo season is that we are checking in on a story that began back in March, particularly March 6th. What happened on March 6th? Well, that was the day that Uranus went back into Taurus, a sign that, apart from its 2018 dip into Taurus, hadn't been there for 80 years. So it was a big deal. And so for the next 7 years, while Uranus is in Taurus, there's a particular area of our life that we have to reinvent. For instance, if you're an Aries, it's about money. If you are a Taurus, you're reinventing yourself. If you are a Gemini, you are really digging into spirituality and your blind spots. If you are a Cancer, this is about friendship and community and belonging. If you are a Leo, happy birthday again, Leo, this is about reinventing career. If you are a Virgo, this is about really redefining and opening up in a new way how you see the world, what you believe in, faith. If you are a Libra, this is about you doing some deep emotional work on intimacy and deep emotional connection over the next 7 years. If you are a Scorpio, this is about relationship and reinventing what relationship means in your life. If you are a Sagittarius, this is about you reinventing your everyday. This is about you reinventing even how you take care of your body, what you eat, kind of even like your daily activities in your work. If you are Capricorn rising, this is kind of, in a way, echoing to Leo season, and this is about you reinventing parts of your personality and how you express yourself. If you are an Aquarius, you are reinventing the very foundation and the roots of your life. And if you are a Pisces, this is about reinventing your voice. So that's a very quick look at what Uranus means for the next 7 years. So there's some story that began, and it began this past March. So, think back to what was going on in March, and if there's any sort of new beginnings for you, especially if you are a Leo, if you are an Aquarius, if you are a Taurus, if you're a Scorpio, what's called the fixed cross. So this was a time when something began. And so why am I talking about March? Well, the thing is that this week and going into Monday, July 29th, the sun will make what's called a square to Uranus. And Leo season in general does not have the ups and downs and the bumps that this past Cancer season had with the eclipses. It's more about that next step of the work that we're doing with our Uranus and Taurus story that began just this past March. So this week, Oh, somebody asked if this is for rising signs. Yeah, that's for rising signs as well. I kind of did that little quick look at what Uranus and Taurus means for each of the signs. And if if this is like too fast, of course you can watch the replay, but go to my website, empoweringastrology.com. Under not articles, I think it's topics. There's a whole section like on each of the planets, and one is Uranus, and you can read. The article is called Uranus and Taurus sign by sign. What part of your life needs to be reinvented for the next 7 years? I know it's a tall order. If Uranus works in these 7-year chapters. It's interesting that it works in 7-year chapters because that's a number that's very attached to the planet Saturn. I mean, I'm getting a little intermediate with my astrology at the moment, but Saturn is a planet that has a 29-year cycle. You divide that into quarters, and it's that 7-year itch, that 7-year cycle. That's very much a part of life and manifestation, how Saturn works. So here, Uranus works in these 7-year cycles as well, these 7-year chapters. So, I wanted to use this opportunity. I don't get on Instagram live as often. If you guys are definitely digging it, I'll do more of it. But I am going to archive this also on YouTube. So you can always go to my YouTube page, Empowering Astrology, to check out the replay. But I wanted to give a little brief look at Leo season since we just we just entered a new kind of what's called a solar chapter. These kind of 12 chapters of the year where we go and we learn about life. And that's exactly what the zodiac is. It's teaching us about life. It's teaching us about ourselves. So as we go into Leo season, again, it is about, in that very literal way, teaching us about ourselves, teaching us about how to kind of break through and open up and let go and share who we are with the world. So it's also a season to have fun and to play. Leo is the sign of children, and I always think of when little children play and they have no agenda and they're just kind of completely in the flow of things, and they're just in that like a very childlike joy of play and expression, and that's it's what I always think is like really at the essence of Leo. So this is a time when we are playing more, we're having fun more. Certainly we could have more fun after, let's say, the rough and tumble past 4 weeks with the eclipses. We are creating more. Leo is the sign of art. It's the sign of performance. We are maybe even taking in the arts more while the sun is in Leo. It could be music. It could be even our own arts and talents. So this is a season for us, again, to play, but also to check in with what the story that's unfolding since this past March. I mean, something that I shared, I did a Facebook Live yesterday, and if you're a Facebook user, you can go to Facebook and watch it, or you can also go to my YouTube page. But one of the things I shared is that I'm a Scorpio, by the way, and Uranus goes into Taurus in March of this past year, and I quit my day job of 12 years to do astrology full time. So that kind of gets to the crux of what Uranus is asking all of us. I mean, obviously that's a very dramatic shift, but I think what Uranus does as a planet is that it wants us to be our true selves, not trying to fit ourselves into something that doesn't fit anymore. So this is a time when some of us are making very dramatic reinventions, maybe leaving a relationship, maybe leaving the place that we've lived in for a long time, and to kind of seek out going off into new directions. So I think it was in April that the Sun and Uranus, like April 22nd, I think, that Sun and Uranus made what's called a conjunction. So we're having a little bit of an echo back to that time Somebody's asking how to get rid of scrolling names. I don't know. I think that's actually intrinsic to the technology, Kimberly. You might be able to, nope, you can't do that either. Maybe I'll make myself a little bit higher. But yeah, so this is a time when we are kind of even like looking back on what was going on just this past April with that, what's called the conjunction. So other highlights from Leo season, we have Mercury retrograde until the 31st of July. I believe it's the 31st. It will make what's called a station opposite Pluto. So we might, in the next couple of days, as we come to the end of this retrograde, we might have to go back and to revisit choices that we made, experiences and things that we did back in the end of June, because right now Mercury is like retracing its movements of where it was back in June, and it will make a station opposite Pluto. So we might need to powerfully rethink some things as it makes what's called the opposition to Pluto next week. But that's, that not really compares a lot to this past eclipse season. It will station on an eclipse degree, so we might get a little bit of an eclipse energy echo around the time of that station at the end of this month. But then Mercury will turn direct. It'll get out of Cancer, back into Leo on August 11th. We do have a new moon. I believe it's also the 31st. So we are kind of entering in a new lunar month on the 31st. This is when 8 degrees of Leo is when we have that new moon. And then going into August, Uranus will retrograde. We'll get as far as what's called 6 degrees of Taurus, and then it will go backwards. And it will go back, I believe it's until January of 2020 when it will turn direct. If I'm remembering my astrology, see a couple more waves that are going on. So again, this Leo season doesn't have the ups and downs of what's been going on the past 4 weeks with the eclipses. The big kind of highlights are Uranus during retrograde in Taurus. Retrogrades are pretty common with outer planets. We also have Mercury turning direct and then getting out, back out of Cancer and back into Leo on the 11th. And then we also have Jupiter turning direct, and it will, once it turns direct, I think it's earlier in August, I don't have the date handy, it will start to kind of gain some speed, and it'll be out of Sagittarius where it's been since this past November by the end of this year. And so if you're a Sagittarius, or even if you're a Pisces, you're going to be going into a time where it's a little bit more forward movement. So again, just to recap, if you are Pisces, Sagittarius, not July, but more like August is going to be a lot more of a forward movement for you. If you are even a Gemini or a Virgo, because your ruling planet is retrograde as well, I would wait to see kind of into August to kind of get that forward movement. Jennifer, you're asking about Jupiter retrograde. So each planet, other than the sun and the moon, turn retrograde. And when a planet turns retrograde, it's time to reflect and to pull back on that planet's energies. Jupiter is about growth. It's about the hope and the faith needed to try new things and to go out in the world. If you have a strong Jupiter in your chart, for instance, or even if you are a Sagittarius, you like to travel. At least that's the idea. So Jupiter retrograde has been a time when, and Jupiter has been spending time in Sagittarius since last November. So this is a time when we've been really thinking about faith and what we believe in. That's kind of at the heart of Jupiter's time in Sagittarius. And I know that it's been doing this dance with Neptune. So I've been seeing that some people have been having some themes about faith, or like the shaking of faith. They've been having to reconsider choices and maybe what they believe in. And so when Jupiter turns direct, in August. It'll be doing so in what's called a square to Neptune. So I think, to answer your question, what is this Jupiter retrograde about? It's been these long contemplations about, what does this all mean? What does the world mean? What do we have faith in? What do we believe in? So I think that now that it's going to go forward, maybe there's some more forward movement. Yeah, Jupiter is the teacher of the zodiac. It's in a way it's like a guru. So somebody has a strong Jupiter in their chart. They've hopefully amassed wisdom. They want to share it with the world. Maybe it's somebody that's the world traveler, so to speak. But then, so like a planet goes retrograde, like it happens very often, especially with the outer planets. They'll spend 3-4 months out of the year retrograde. So it's a time when we have to kind of reflect. It's a yin phase. It's not a yang phase. It's a yin. It's pulling in instead of pushing out. So see some more waves. Hello. Again, just doing a very, very impromptu Instagram live just to connect with you all and talk about Leo season and why Leo season is it's a time to find our passion, to find our joy. Somebody asked, baddest witch in the town, nice name. How do I determine strong influences of planets? So this is a little bit technical. So if you are intermediate or a little bit more advanced with astrology, this one's for you. When you look at a chart, planets can have status. So this is a little bit, like I said, technical explanation. When a planet is in its own sign, that's a strong placement. So for instance, if Jupiter is in, if you were born with Jupiter in Sagittarius, Jupiter would be strongly placed because it's in the sign that it rules, for instance. Other status items include a planet that's elevated, a planet that's in what's called let's say the 10th house. It's highest up in the chart, it's nearest to the midheaven. So for instance, I have Pluto in my chart conjunct the midheaven. So Pluto is at the highest point in my chart, the midheaven. So that planet, Pluto, has a lot of status. It's elevated. People can see it. I am professionally Pluto in a way. You might have another planet, or you might not. There's other ways to find status. Let's say the planet is making an aspect to the sun, an aspect to the moon. It's part of a stellium. I mean, this is kind of like technical minutia. You have to really, Pluto, Pluto conjunct the midheaven. I think I'm still working that one out, and I am a professional astrologer. Angular planets, by the way, are strong placements. So 10th, 4th, 7th, and 1st. That's what's called an angular planet. So I'm seeing some familiar faces. Hello. So those, hey, if you got a question, let me know before we end this quick impromptu live feed. But again, I just wanted to give you all a little bit of insight into Leo season since the sun is now into Leo. Maybe a little bit of eclipse echo the season, but we don't have the major planetary aspects this season like we did last season with Cancer. We had like Venus opposite Saturn, Venus opposite Pluto, Mars square Saturn, Mars square Uranus. So it was where's my Leo? My Leo is intercepted in the 8th house, and it's the sun just went into what's called my Placidus 8th house. Whole sign, it's my 9th house. I do have Jupiter in Leo. I'm part of that Jupiter and Leo generation. So if you're born in 1978 or 12 years before that or 12 years after that, I think it's 1991 when it was back into Leo. So yeah, that's my Leo. We all have Leo somewhere, even if we're not a Leo, because the chart is a circle. So because the chart is a circle, we have to understand that there's a time in our personal calendar when we connect with the energy of Leo. And it's a time to find our creativity, to find our passion, and to find our joy. Every sign in the zodiac has something to teach us. That's the whole point of growing and evolving through the zodiac and through astrology. So astrology is a wheel. Every year we return back to the same place in the sky, and we deepen our understanding. So we are kind of more deepening our understanding of Leo. This year, we don't have what's called the North Node in Leo anymore. My progressed descendant is Leo now. That's kind of a technical point, but last year we had the North Node in Leo. We were on a kind of a soul level, all trying to reach and to bring more Leo into our life. And now the North Node is in Cancer, so it's all about opening up the heart, opening up emotionally, opening up to each other. So even though it is Leo season, we're still kind of working through these deeper issues around Cancer now that we're coming out of this Cancer new moon solar eclipse. So anyway, it was lovely all with you. I can't speak English. It was lovely to connect with you all for this very impromptu look at Leo season. Please follow me if you don't follow me already. Please follow me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. My website is empoweringastrology.com. I do consultations, so you can go to my online booking calendar. You can also, I do teach webinars. I am teaching a webinar on how to read your natal chart. It's more of a crash course meant to give you a foundation and to help you to understand what the different lines and the symbols mean in your astrology chart. So do please check all that stuff out in my link in bio. You can see my horoscopes, you can see my content, you can see my classes. So anyway, it was wonderful to have this quick chat with you all, and I look forward to future chats. Bye.